Hi, I'm Ryan with Front End Audio, and this is the Hear Technologies Hearback Pro 4-pack. All right, this is a personal monitoring system, which is beautiful for live sound as well as house of worship, but it is also an amazing system to utilize in a studio, and we're going to talk about that and what this all offers, okay? Being a personal monitor system, everything that you see here is available for purchase individually, so this can be as complex or as simple as you really want it to be. The 4-pack aims to really just simplify it and give you a cohesive, coherent system that you can just get up and running in with your studio in no time right out of the box. And there is an accessories pack that we also, Front End Audio, has an exclusive bundle on that gives you some additional accessories that really expands on the system. When that video is available, you're going to want to check for a link in the description below or above my head to see what all that offers there. But we're going to look at the 4-pack and what all it offers, because this is a really cool system. It's a great way to give your talent their own personal mix, their control over their own personal mix, so that they can hear exactly what they need for their best performance in the studio. Now, the first thing you're going to see is your hub. Okay, this allows for 16 audio inputs, and then it can output to up to 8 mixers. The 4-pack comes with 4 mixers, and these mixers just happen to be including their overlay system, which we'll get into in a minute. But let's take a look at the hub first. This gives you 16 audio inputs. On the rear of the unit, you have your main power supply input plus an auxiliary power supply input. And then you'll see 2 Ethernet ports called H-bus. And this is for daisy chaining multiple hubs together. And there's a switch on the front that actually corresponds to that. You can also utilize the H-bus for connecting a wireless router so that you can Wi-Fi enable these. And with a iOS or Mac OS device like a MacBook Pro or an iPhone, there you go. You have a little app there that you can utilize to control this remotely. And with the digital overlay, because you have these little scribble strips, you can also customize that. So instead of it saying input 1, 2, 3 through 16, you can have drum left, drum right, guitar right, so forth, right? So that's a very cool feature that you can have here. And furthermore, you will see that you have a USB port on this. That is for firmware updates. Next to that, you will see your 4 modular card slots. Now, with a 4-pack, they simplify it again. You're always going to get the network card at the end, and that will allow you to connect up to 8 of these personal mixers. You get 4 of them with the pack, but you can add additionals at the time of your order, or if you already have one of these, you can get up to 4 more and be able to connect it to one hub. That's going to give you a lot of people to cover in the studio, which is awesome. The expandability, both in being able to add more mixers as well as future-proof yourself with the firmware updates, is awesome, as well as being able to daisy chain these. So these can actually grow with you. But again, the 4-pack makes it simple. You're like, okay, well, I like this, but I usually record 5-piece bands. Buy a 4-pack and an extra mixer. You're done, right? This hub is actually outfitted with the analog input cards. So you get 2 cards, right? This is standard Tascam DB25 wiring. You have 8 channels on one card, 8 channels on the other for your 16 channels. Now, you also get your cabling, okay? So you're going to be good to go right out of the box. Other input option cards include ADAT, MADI, AES, Dante, and Waves Sound Grid. Okay, so you have a plethora of input options. Of course, those cards being digital, you only get 1 card. You only need 1 card, right? Because all that can be there. So you can actually expand on the hub additionally that way. So if your studio is based on Dante, you get the Dante card. And then you plug this into your Dante network. It's a device on the network, and you're good to go. And you can then send out to your 4, to your 4 mixers like that. With this being an analog system, we're actually patching into our patch bay directly to the outputs of our Apollo X8 Pre. So very cool setup, and just really simple. right? You have this 1U rack hub with all of this configuration, and it handles everything. It takes your audio in, and then it disperses it out to your 4 mixers. On each mixer, you have your 16, faders here, and you can adjust your volume of each fader, right? So if this is drum left and this is drum right, you can then adjust that, make sure it's perfect. Oh, you want to pan it? You just hit this pan button down here, and then you can hard pan that left and right or to whatever degree you want, and then go back, and you have your master volume down here. So, if the drummer needs to hear themselves and the bassist and maybe the vocalist, then they can bring that in, pan that however they want, and set their overall volume and not have to listen to anything else. If the guitarist only wants to hear the drums, the bassist, and the keys, then they can do that, right? So if the vocalist only wants to really hear drums and guitars, right, then you can do that. You can also have your click track on one of these so that they can just bring that up. It just gives you a lot of flexibility on providing the proper mix for your talent, right? And as you can see, this is on a microphone stand. If we look at one of the mixers up close, you have a 5/8 adapter on the bottom of each mixer, so you can mount these 2 microphone stands, which makes it very, very convenient in the studio. On the back side of it, you have an XLR connector, and that's going to be for a talkback microphone. As you can see here, there's this button, and when you hold it, lights up. That's the intercom, and that will allow for the talkback microphone on this mixer, whoever's using that, to take precedence of anything playing over the system and be able to communicate to the other musicians in the band or to the audio engineer. You also, on the rear of the back of the unit, you have this channel for routing your Ethernet cable, which is nice and handy. On the base of it, right here towards the bottom, you have your auxiliary I/O. You have a 1/8" and 1/4" headphone output, and then you have your Ethernet input, and that's what connects from the mixer to the hubs. So it's a really simple setup here, right? You just pick the hub with the I/O that you want, and then you get your 4 mixers along with it with your cabling. You pull it out of the package, you rack it up, make sure everything's connected right. It's Ethernet. If you need long runs, not a problem. You can run these hundreds of feet. So, if you have maybe the bass player's in the control room with you and he's monitoring or she's monitoring off of the speakers, right, in the control room, but you have a vocalist in an ISO booth, you have a guitarist in another ISO booth, you have the drummer in the main room, and then you have the keyboard player in a different main room, no problem whatsoever. No problem whatsoever, because this hub connects however you need it, and then you can run long Ethernet runs to any of these mixers, and then your talent has the flexibility to be able to pick and choose how they hear what they hear, and it lets them perform to their best. So what we're going to do real quick to wrap this up is we're actually going to set this up to our system here in our in-office studio, and I'm going to run back some stems from one of my songs, 6 Feet of Ground, and I'm going to show you with 2 of these mixers and a pair of monitors how we can build 2 different mixes simultaneously. So let's get to that. All right, well, I might sound a little bit different right now because I don't have a single microphone pointed directly at me like normal, so I'm going to speak a little bit louder as I have one microphone pointed at this set of speakers and one microphone pointed at this set of speakers. The white monitors are going to be your left and right channel for the headphones of the bass player, and the black monitors are going to be the left and right of the headphones for the guitarist. Now we have our hub set up over there on the top of our desk, and that's connected to our Apollo interface via the DB25 to TRS Snake, and that's going into our patch bay. So we have all 8 channel outputs of our Apollo running into the hub there, and then we're running 2 different mixers, bass player and guitarist. So let's get a quick mix. The bass player, he wants to hear drums up the center, he wants to hear the bass slightly to the left, and a hard pan guitar, and that's going to be his reference. So we're first going to cut up the master volume to about 50%, and then we're going to start cutting up the drums. Check the pan, stereo, so it's up in the center. Now we're going to bring up the bass guitar. A little bit louder so he can hear himself clearly but still hear the drums. And we're going to pan him slightly to the left. And now we're going to bring up the right side guitar. Just that simple. We have drums, guitar, bass. That's all the bass player needs to hear, so they're happy. They can adjust anything how they wanted to. They could bring up another guitar. Or vocals. And then they have their overall volume there. So, bass player is good to go. Let's now work on the guitarist. We're going to bring up our volume to about 50%. They want to hear themselves, the drums, and the bass. So drums is going to be with center. Okay. The guitarist wants to hear themselves. Up the center, bass off to the side so they can hear what he needs to hear. Good to go. Adjust the volume. Wanted to bring in another guitar. Good. Vocals. Has got me covered, baby, 6 feet of ground. Has got me covered, baby. Say you didn't want to hear the drums, you just want to hear bass. So now we got this mix, and we got this mix. So it's just that simple. It gives you an easy way to quickly dial in whatever you need, how much you need, pan where, and adjust your overall volume so that every individual talent in the studio has their own personalized mix for their best monitoring and performance applications. Really cool system. All right, I hope that this video, this overview video, has really helped demystify what the Hearback Pro system's capable of. This is their flagship system. They do have the Hearback Octo, which is a smaller system that only has 8 inputs, less features, you know, and it's a little bit more affordable. So if you're in a smaller commercial studio or a home studio, but you still need a personal monitoring system, maybe the Octo is the way to go. But this is the flagship one. This offers all the bells and whistles, all the great conveniences, digital overlay and control, 16 I/O. These are really cool systems, and I hope that we've really helped explain how these function and how useful they can be in a studio, and that the demonstration helped illustrate that even further. If you have any questions on the Hearback Pro 4-pack from Hear Technologies, all the great products brought to you by Hear Technologies, and for all your pro audio needs, please do contact us at frontendaudio.com. Thank you.